So what we can figure out what we start off with is we can look at our best mill setups. And the best mill setup relative to um, what typical people do is about a there's about a 4% improvement from taking this setup from what typically people do. With farming upgrades, movement upgrades, it's about 3.2% improvement in output because you're walking faster, and walking faster becomes less of a waste. And because it's less of a waste, setup becomes less important, and that's why the improvement becomes less important with better upgrades. Looking at a one town center start, you improve your you just invest in a 370 wood on it. Includes farming investment, but I actually did end up including the farming investment calculations. But really, so what this does, we'll start looking at how much does it take to get the investment back, including the farming costs, is what I did. Um, so let's look at what people typically do. So we have a 3x3 square here on 4, and here's a town center with two different setups. So here, the three farms are stacked like this, and over here, the three farms are stacked like this. So what these numbers mean is how many tiles a villager has to travel to drop off the food. So a 2 means that it takes 2 tiles on average for this farm to drop off food, while on this one up here it takes about on average 4 tiles dropping food. And then same over here, 3.46. This position 4, 3.46, 4, 4, 2 tiles, 2 tiles, 2 tiles. If we take the averages, we have 3.18 average tiles drop off food per 855 resources spent to get 8 farmers up. And we travel 25.46 tiles per drop for the 8 farmers. Here we travel 24.92 tiles for 8 farmers. So we can tell that there isn't much of a difference from this design on the left to this design on the right. They're both pretty good, but they are better. Now, in this farming concept to the right, we'll see why on some farms they're slower and faster on other farms. So on a mill, this guy and this guy will be 2, because on this little marker right here, that's the average point of the farmer. The farmer only spends their time in this square, the top left 4 squares. The bottom right 5 squares are never farmed from. So in this square, the farmer spends most of the time right here in the middle and here. So here to here, on average, is 2 squares, and here to here is 1 square. So traveling there to there is 4 squares, and traveling from there to there is 2 squares. And that's how you get a farming concept of why placement matters. So on a regular fill, these two are going to travel 4 tiles per drop off, and on these sides, it's going to travel. The villager is going to travel 2 tiles per drop off on average. So the most efficient mill setup is right here, just having 2 farms per mill. This setup is 3 tiles on average per 320 resource. Oh, this is actually for 4 farmers. So per 4 farmers, we cost 85 resources per farm. While these are 106 resources per farm, and this is 106 resources per farm. So mills are the cheapest way to get your output cheaper. But you want to take your 3 town center spots, and you want to take these spots if they're open, because you get your town center for free. So this is actually 375 cheaper. And then you want to go to your mill. This is just for cheapest, not for optimal output. If you want optimal output, you take the 2s and only the 2s. So let's start looking at this concept of optimal setup. So we have a mill setup here, optimal setup. A villager travels 2 tiles per average. So you can't get any more efficient than that. You can't get a farm any closer to a drop-off location than what we're seeing here. So on 220 resources, 60, 60, 100 is 220. Per 2 farmers, we get 110 resources per farmer. So in this case, we see a higher cost per farm relative to here, but we have higher efficiency. So looking at something like this and adding farms to get these down to 2, we would add farms in these locations. Here, 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 and we would add 4 more farms. So this is a pretty, for minimal space, 12 farmers, 1975 resources for 12 farmers. You're paying about 165 resources per farmer, but you're only traveling 2.12 tiles per farm per drop off relative to the 3 on the other setup. And this is and going from 3.2 down to 2 is about 4% output in food production. So we have our mill perfect setup and our town center perfect setup. We have a 2.82. We can get that better. We can get rid of that 2.82. Just don't put that farm there, and you won't have to worry about getting that 2.82 down. So now we're down to 141 resources per farm, and it costs us 370 extra wood from the typical investment. And from that typical investment, we're going to get a 4% increase in food production. So 2 town centers with the 6 most efficient spots taken up, and then you can put the 7th one in any of these locations with that extra mill. But it's probably best to just do it outside. But if you say on your first town center your mills just happens to be here, well then you can put it there and you can predict the spots. Basically just allow space for the less efficient spot to be improved by a mill that may be by your berries. So here may be your berries, and you put your mill there so you can place a farm there next to your town center for optimal defense. And this brings out an extra 462 resource investment for 4% improvement in output, food output, and it takes 206 seconds to pay back that 462 food in food. This costs 172 resources per minute. Looking at the three town center setup, 8 mill, 25 villagers, we can look at the 3 town centers right here. This is how you want to set up 3 town centers with 9 perfectly efficient farms. If we want to look at how we're going to set up our 8 mills and 16 farmers, here's one layout. So black and teal is one layout. You can just do an angle with your 8 mills and your 16 farms. You could do the black and red setup with the 4 mills, 8 mills, 16. We could try condensing it down into more of a square by just keep moving the pieces around, and we can get something pretty close and pretty tight. And then adding to the town centers, you can have your 3 town centers with your mill set up below it, or you can do a mix of 2 on the top, 3 towns in the middle, and 2 on the bottom, or you can do top left town center square, and then the right mill, left mill, mill, mill. So your front top left corner defense, put a castle back here. That would be super powerful farming defense. You put a castle here, put a castle here. Super powerful castle defense. You probably shift this over here and put a castle here, or shift these 2 over here, put the castle there. There's many ways to make these positions very powerful. So that's pretty much what it comes down to. The different setups. So here's an optimal tower setup. Here's an optimal one. Here's an optimal one. Just repeating, just going through. And then let's look at the data for this 3T setup, 8 mil, 25 food. So on average, you're traveling 2 tiles per drop off, which is the optimal drop off rate. It costs 3,425 resources for 25 farmers to get to work, and it costs 137 resources per farm, and 752 investment for 3.2 to 4 point improvement in output. It takes 25 0.3 seconds to pay back the 752 extra investment that occurs. So basically, the bigger a farm gets, just the faster everything pays back. It's quite exponential, but you need 25 free farmers as well, which you would get up to. 25 farmers is pretty much already a lot of that's a lot of farmers. I mean, you only have 99 villagers, 100 villagers in your economy typically, so 25% on farmers is pretty good. You're probably gonna have 25 enough food. And I don't know, you probably go more than 25 food, but as you continue to add more mills and farms and keeping that 2.0 continuing, that will approach 110 resources per farmer, and this will slightly go up. And then let's just review the 2-2 town center, which is a little bit more resources but a little bit faster playback. And then let's look at the most cost effective way, and it's this mill. So what you could do is you could put boom boom mill, boom boom mill. So you can make the pods. You could get your 16 farms out, get your 4 mills out, and then once that happens, put a mill, your other 4 mills on the other 4 pods right here, and it'll drop all your 4s and 2s. And then all of a sudden, you put your 400 wood for the mills out last, and you'll jump up your efficiency. And it'll cost 400 wood, and for well, it depends on how you look at it. From every perspective, it's a little bit different, as you see. But again, recapping, this is how people would typically set up their farms. Here's the optimal way. Here's a pretty damn good that fills up, an optimal way that fills up your whole town center. Here's a optimal town center fill up that turns everything into a 2 where possible, except this one it's not possible. And then finally we look at a very basic setup here of how to get great mill efficiency. But I mean, you really just gotta remember the building blocks to farming efficiency, and the building blocks to optimal farming efficiency is this building block guy right here, and this building block here. You want to save space, and then one of these building blocks here for another optimal placement. Some people probably get a lot worse than this once they start really expanding. If you like the video, press a like, press a follow, and press the subscribe button. And thank you guys very much. And I will catch you guys later.